Hey everybody, Tim Douglas here with TimDouglasInspires.com. I'm hoping you're having a great day. I'm having a wonderful day. But you know what is on the forefront of my mind, and I'm sure it's on yours as well, and that is 2019. 2019 will be here before we know it. I know 2018 is so far in the rearview mirror for a lot of us, including myself. I've been thinking 2019 for quite a while, and it's hard to believe that here it is. We're days away from 2019, and I've got three things that I believe that we must have in 2019 to make 2019 the greatest year we've ever had, to live at our highest true potential in our personal and our professional life. And so what are those three things? Number one is awareness. I truly believe that we need awareness more than any other time right now. We need to be aware of what does that mean? What do we need to be aware of? Aware of the weather, aware of our state at home, whatever it may be. I really believe self-awareness is key. Self-awareness is what we really need to have. You know, in 2017, I really started studying self-awareness and what did that mean for me. And you know, it's kind of like, why do I have the feelings that I have? What are the emotions that I'm feeling right now? Why am I feeling those emotions? Why did I get so upset over what my wife just said, right? Why did that piss me off about what my friend said? Why do I get offended by what they do and what they say and what they don't do? You know, all of these things, it's so funny. We do this all the time. We have these emotions and we have these feelings about things, and it really drives and dictates our life. And a lot of times it can be tension. It can create tension in our life between other people. And it's really all because we're not understanding or we're not aware of why we're feeling the way we're feeling. I'll give you some perfect examples. I love using these examples. My wife and I were in a conversation, and hey, if you're married or if you're in a relationship, I'm sure you've had some of these conversations, and my wife and I call them conversations with purpose, right? We're having a discussion with purpose. And so we were having a conversation, and she had said something that really ticked me off, and I got mad and I just blew up. And I walked away from the conversation, and I started asking myself, dude, what's up? Why are you so upset? Why are you so bothered by what she said? What was it about what she said that bothered you? You know, and why did that really upset you? What was it about that? And the more I dug into that, and it takes some practice to dig down into that. Sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it's like, I just want to be pissed, right? I just want to be upset. But I really believe the more we can ask those questions of ourselves and dig deeper into those dark crevices of our life, the areas that we don't want to go to, the areas where we've not been before, we're uncharted territory, so to speak, and it can be scary. I get it. But the more we can dive down into those areas, the more we uncover about ourselves. And so what I did was I started digging deep and started realizing that the reason why I got so upset was because earlier that week I had been feeling a certain way about myself, wanted to change some areas about myself or some areas of my life. And I hadn't implemented those things yet, but I was aware of those things. I didn't like them, right? And so when she said what she said, which was totally off, you know, not even intentional on her part, it still struck a chord in me. And that emotion came up, and then it came out. I reacted instead of responded in a way. And so but the more I became aware of that, the more I asked myself these questions, the more those things happen, the less I believe those things occur. And my wife would be the one to ask because we all believe we're doing some things sometimes, and we are, but maybe it's just not at the level we think we really are doing it. But you know, another scenario I'd love to give you, another little example is my wife and I had these conversations, and honestly, I'll just be completely frank and real. I've not always been the man that I was supposed to be, not always been the leader that I was supposed to be, and so my wife has had to step up sometimes and be that leader, or play that role, and that I'll be honest with you. Sometimes as a man, that kind of felt like she was kind of mothering in a way. And I know that's not what her intention was, but it was all because of my lack of responsibility and stepping up and doing what I was supposed to do. However, feeling that way inside, here we are in taking care of a situation. We did some. We have a Airbnb that we manage. We were cleaning that one day and got done, and here we are in the car, and she asked me, "Did you XYZ?" I can't even remember the scenario, but she just asked, "Did I do something?" And initially in my head, I was like, ah! I was about ready to react right away, and literally in my head, in my mind, I'm having this conversation within nanoseconds of the coming out of my mouth, or the coming out of my mouth. I was having this conversation with myself. Why did that bother you? What was it about that bothered you? Well, it felt mothering. She's not mothering you. She's just trying to help you. That's right. She's just trying to help me. She's just trying to help me. Okay, so reassure her. Thank her for trying to help you, instead of getting so angry and so upset. So what I did, I was like, and I mean, I was like really upset. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I get it. I understand you're trying to help me. Therefore, I thank you. I get it. And so I just thanked her for it right there in that moment. And the more I thought about that, I was like, ooh, my head was blown, because I'm like, how many people really take time to practice this, to get some of this awareness, right? And understand that, and then to put it into practice. And so I encourage you to get awareness on yourself. Get awareness of why you react the way you react, the way you feel about things. And sometimes it's just stuff within us. Some things that it's really revealing of ourself, self-awareness. I know it sounds kind of crazy, right? That it's revealing things in us. And so, but I encourage you to do that. The other area would be social awareness. How do you show up in the world? How are you presenting yourself? Are you presenting yourself with all of this baggage? Are you presenting yourself with all of this tension that you bring into a relationship, that you bring into that workplace, that you bring into the meeting that you're having with your spouse, your coworkers, your children, whomever it may be? How are you showing up in the world? We may believe we show up one way, but yet we're projecting something else because of the way we carry things into that situation. And so, awareness. Get awareness this year. Practice that. Practice what it takes to understand yourself. Google it. Google, right? So just Google self-awareness and get some of those practices, or just reach out to me, DM me. I'd love to talk through this further with you. But for the sake of this video, I'd love to kind of just give you those little nuggets and encourage you in that regard, in that way. And so reach out, DM me, leave a comment, whatever, and let's chat about it, and love to help you further. Number 2 is clarity. Clarity is key. Clarity. What do I need clarity on? Right? It sounds a lot like awareness. Number 1, we said awareness. Sounds a lot like it. And clarity, there is some similarities here. However, once you become aware of yourself, right, and how you're showing up, now we need to ask the question, get clarity on ourselves. Who am I? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? Right? Asking those questions and really dig deep on that. It's like 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Who do I want to be? The person that I am today, am I projecting the person that I want to be 10, 15 years down the road? Am I that person? Am I showing up that way? And so the question we have to ask ourselves is, what does that take to get that clarity? Well, it takes that time. It takes time to settle down, to have some quiet time, to ask ourselves some questions. What's meaningful in life? What are the things that I really want? How do I want to be seen, and things like that? And so once we get clear on that, and I want us to take that a step further. I've been having some conversations with some people about this, and I believe this is so powerful, so powerful. Once you get that vision of who you want to be, that person that you see out there 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Once you see that, go there, experience it. What are the emotions and the feelings that you, from being that person, when you see that, what does that feel like? What are the emotions that stirs up inside of you? What are the feelings that it has that just gets you going, right? Is it excitement? Is it joy? Is it passion? Is it significance, making you feel like, hey, I've arrived, I've done it. I'm that person that I know I'm supposed to be. Is that the emotion that stirs up? Are those the feelings that kind of identify with those? Right? And once we can identify with those emotions, those feelings, that's what we're after, because a lot of times we these old emotions from our past kind of override where we are in our current state. And yet it's because we don't have something for our future. We don't have something that we are striving towards. And that's why I believe a vision is really, really important. And I'll do another video on vision, because I really believe that once you get clarity on who it is you want to be, you can see clearer, right? Clarity, and have that vision, write that vision out. And I'll do another segment on that. But the other area is you get clarity on yourself, who you want to be. Social is the other. How do you want to show up? How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to be seen in the world, right? Number one was awareness, understanding how we show up. And now is this how I want to show up? Right? I know how I'm showing up, and I'm showing up not too good, not the way I really want to be. So how do I do that? What's the clarity? How do I really want to show up? Who needs my A game today? How do I show up for them? How do I want them to see me? Do I want them to see me as a bitter person, or as a person that's always disgruntled or upset, or just doesn't have things figured out, or is, has issues with my self-esteem, that I'm always beating myself up? Do I want to be seen that way? I mean, we need to get clear on that. And I think once we understand that about ourselves, right, we can help others in that regard. And then the third area of clarity would be the skills that I need. What are those skills that I need to become that person that I need to be 5, 10, 15 years down the road, right? What are the skills that I need to show up? Maybe that's some emotional intelligence skills that I need, right? Maybe I need to work on my interpersonal skills and how I show up. And so once I can identify who I want to be, how I want to show up, I can start identifying the skills, get very clear on the skills that I need so I can start showing up. Maybe it's, what is the skills that I need this month? The skills this month to be the person that I need to be 6 months from now. So that way I can be the person that I need to be a year from now. And now I have those skills. What are the next skills that I need for that person 5 years, 10 years down the road? But once we get some clarity on those things, now we can start aligning our life with that and with that person. And so I hope that brings some clarity to who you are, your passions in life, who you want to be, how you want to show up, and the skills that's going to take. And so that's number 2, get clarity. Number 3 is one of my words for this last year, and that was intention. Get intention, or set your intention. So I would say once you have awareness, once I'm aware of why I do what I do, why I react the way I react, why I'm upset about that, but now I get some clarity about that's not who I want to be. I want to be this person. Now I can set my intention on who I want to be. Set my intention on the skills that I need to be doing. Set my intention on what I should be doing, the steps that I could take on the daily, right? It's the steps that I need to take daily so I can show up in the world. I can show up in the social world and project myself the way I need to be projected, and project myself the way I want to be projected. So intention, be very intentional about the things that we do. That's hard. That's hard sometimes because I think we get stuck in autopilot a lot of times, right? And in autopilot, we can just do whatever the heck we want to do and not really think about what we're doing. You know, how many times have you been driving home and or to work or wherever, and the next thing you know, you're like, whoa, how did I get here? Or wait a minute, I don't quite remember that turn back there. That's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. And so I've been kind of practicing and playing with this a little bit, is like being intentional about being in the moment, being intentional about staying there. Okay, I'm going to make this turn. I want to go this route home today. I want to take that route home the next day or whatever. I'm being intentional about those things, intentional about understanding that this conversation might not go the way I want it to go. And that's okay, right? Being intentional about releasing and letting some of those things be. And so setting that intention up front, I love what I learned this past year, and that was, and I've talked about it in some of these other things, other steps, about we take in this tension, right? We take the tension from one relationship or one conversation into another, from one meeting to the next, and we take this tension and we try to give our best, but yet we're still carrying this tension around. You know, high performers actually leave the tension, they release tension, and then they set their intention for what they're going to do next. So let me give you an example. I'm in a meeting. The meeting is not going exactly the way I want it to go. It's got my blood pressure up a little bit more than what I really want it to be. And so I can take that negative energy, right, and place it into a conversation that I need to have with my wife, a conversation I need to have with my kids, a conversation that I need to have with my teammates, right? As I'm building my team, I just had a conversation maybe with my spouse or with my kids, and it just didn't go right. And so I take that negative energy, that negative frustration, and I can project it out onto others unintentionally, but yet it's happening. And how many times do we do that and we just don't give thought to it? So what if we chose intentionally release tension? We just release. I'm just going to release that tension right now. I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to set my intention on showing up, because asking the question, who needs my A game, right? Asking the question of clarity, how do I want to show up? How do I want to be seen, right? And so setting my intention that I'm going to go in here and I'm going to be full of joy. I'm going to bring the joy. I'm going to bring it today, right? And so when you do that, I believe that you'll start showing up much better in 2019. I believe once you get awareness, once you get the clarity that you need, and once you start setting your intention, those three things will set you up for success in 2019. Every day, right? And success in 2019 is you showing up every single day with awareness, clarity, and intention. Once you do those three things, you can pick a maybe it's a meeting. Today at this meeting, I want to be very aware of how I project myself in this meeting. I want to be clear on how I want to project myself in that meeting, and I want to set my intention on showing up, giving my A game, being my best for my teammates, right? And so that is success. That's being successful, right? So at the end of the year, when you've done all those things, success is doing that every single day, and the results will be a fabulous year. I hope you have a wonderful rest of 2018. 2019 is going to be amazing. I look forward to coming to you more, sharing more videos. If you got something out of this, drop it in the comments below. Please, please, please tell me. I don't want to bag you, but please tell me, what did you like? What spoke to you from this video? Was it awareness? Was it clarity? Was it intention? Maybe it was all three. I don't know. I hope it serves you. I hope you find it something that you can use for the year to come. I believe you can. I know you can. All right. Love you all. God bless. See you next time. Bye.